That's right, guys. Today, y'all are gonna watch a true first time bottom up motor build. I've had a motor shop do me one probably 10 years ago where they rebuilt the heads. They basically gave me the long block. This is me doing everything. Never done it before. It was an awesome experience. Lots of highs, lots of lows. So stick around, watch the video. Do not watch a part of this video and say, oh, that's how you do that. No, make sure you watch this video all the way to the end so you can learn what to do and what not to do. All right. Thank y'all. Y'all subscribe if y'all enjoy the video. What's up, guys? We're back. Time to build this motor. Got a bunch of parts on order. Got some here already, so we'll just start by tearing this thing down. I've already got the headers going in a electrolysis solution. We're going to try and salvage those old headers and Cerakote them. So that'll look pretty cool. We're going with like a burnt bronze color. We got Edelbrock intake. We'll put a new carb on it. A little cam from Summit Racing on the way. So first things first is we'll just get it torn down. I'm gonna go ahead and set number one at top dead center. Got a little water in there. Uh-oh. Might be trying to log up on me. Come on, baby. May spray some lube down all of them, that might help. it may have got some water in it from sitting, maybe. And maybe it's got that cylinder wall a little funky. Alright guys, I got it to spin over. Just had a little bad spot. I guess we'll see what that looks like when we open it up here in a minute, but in the meantime, I just want to set number 1 to top dead center on compression, just because doesn't really make a difference because I'm pulling the camshaft anyway, but there we go. That's about it right there. I ordered a new harmonic balancer. You can see, I'm pretty sure this one spun. You can see where timing mark is versus where this is. Pretty sure the balancer spun at some point, so I got a new balancer coming too. So all right, we're there. So now it's time to start taking these the valve train apart, and then we'll pull the heads off. Alright, I'm gonna pop these heads off now. Alright, got the heads off. She definitely got a little moisture in her. It doesn't look like the head gasket is blown on either side. What I'm thinking is just from sitting out under that shed, it probably got some water in it. This is nasty. But as long as our cylinder walls clean up good, I'm fine with it. First metric part. Oil pickup. It's a 10 right here. Alright, I'm going to start dropping pistons out. First thing I'm going to do is make me a little mark so I remember where to put these back. Get this crank out of here. I'm gonna bust them all loose and then we'll back them out real quick and pull the crank. Alright guys, I'm ready to do some honing now. I got 220 stones on the honer. I'm going to use PV plaster to keep it lubricated as I'm honing. Probably do about 10 in and out strokes in each cylinder, and we'll see where we're at. Only a couple of the cylinders are really bad, but we want to hone evenly. So yeah, I'll move the camera down here and we'll get started. Alright guys, I tried to do some honing, but I found that I can't hone everything that I thought I could. So it's going to the motor shop, and they're gonna bore it out, and we're gonna build a 355. I'm gonna see if I can show y'all this. It may not show up too good on camera, I don't know. So kind of right in there is some pretty serious pitting. I know it's hard to see. I wish I could make it come in better. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, I'm gonna drop it off at the motor shop in a couple days. I got a day off, and they're gonna bore it out. We'll get some new cam bearings, boil the motor while it's there, and guess we'll be back in about a week or so to get back to work on it. So I'll see y'all then. Alright guys, we got the block dropped off. They're boring it over 30. I think I told y'all all this. I got new pistons en route. Once I get the new pistons, I'm going to drop them off with them. Just so they just said they just wanted them to, I guess maybe they check them with the rings on, make sure that they like the way that they bored and honed it. So I'm going to drop those off with them. And also I need them to punch out my stock connecting rods so that we can reuse them. You know, there's really nothing wrong with them. So all I did was go with a 9.7 to 1 2 relief valve piston, flat top, nothing crazy. But I also made the decision, since we're boring this motor, why not make it flow better, right? So I sent out a text to 5 or 6 different, hot rod car guy buddies of mine, and said, hey, I'm in the market for some Vortec heads, but I'm looking for like a good deal. If you know anybody that's had some laying around. They had them on Marketplace, $300. I just didn't really want to spend $300 on that. So, sure as fate would have it, one of my good buddies texted me back later that day and said, I found what you need, $100. So he sent me this. This is a complete, I say complete, it's missing intake and all, but it's a 350 Vortec out of a 98 Z71 pickup truck. Been sitting in the corner of his buddy's shop for years. So for $100, we got a whole nother block and all. Obviously, I just want the heads. I'm keeping flat tap, and I'm not going roller like all this. So we'll be good to go. I'm gonna pull these heads off this evening, and we'll check them out. I'll probably drop them off at the machine shop as well. Just let them go through them, make sure everything's okay. I know they do have some spots that are prone to cracking on the Vortec heads, so I should be able to see it myself after I get them cleaned up a little bit. And yeah, I'm gonna just start ripping these heads off real quick. I'll just put you on fast forward. Y'all done seen me tear a whole motor apart, so we'll just do it in a time lapse, rip these heads off real quick, and then we can just kind of check them out. See that crack? I don't know if that's repairable or not. I've never gone through this. I guess we're gonna find out if this was a a bad $100 investment or a good one. Yeah, I don't know if that's something they repair or not. Like I said, never done this, so once I find out, I'll let y'all know. What's up, guys? So I found out with that other head, that's a no-go. It's a bad crack in a bad spot. So on the hunt for a replacement head. Block's getting finished up at the motor shop as we speak. Should go pick it up this week and start reassembling this thing. This morning I had some free time, so I didn't video it, but if you don't know what grinding valves is, I would suggest watching a YouTube video on it, or just reseating valves. I guess I wouldn't really say grinding, but anyway, I took some valve grinding compound and I redid all the seats on the valves on this head. Can't see it right now, but there you go. So I did that this morning, and now I'm fixing to start reassembling. I just popped on the first valve seal. Got all new valve seals, springs, keepers, everything. I got new everything. So first thing we're gonna do is put the seals on, put a little dab of oil. This is just motor oil. Put a little dab of oil, slip them on, and start reassembling everything. We'll have one head done, and then I don't know what's gonna happen with the next one. Like I said, I'm on the hunt for a used one because that would obviously be the more financially easy option. So if we find a good used one, good. If not, O'Reilly's does sell a replacement. I can turn that cracked one in as a core. I think it's $350. So I'll let y'all know what we end up doing though, but I'm gonna get back to it. What's up, guys? I'm back. So today we're going to Cerakote some parts. I got the C-Series Cerakote in a burnt bronze. We're going to try our hand at this. We're going to do the headers, the intake, and I got a new water pump. Oh yeah, and I got a little something for y'all here. We got the block back from the motor shop. Board 30 over. Got the pistons back. They're under here all covered up. But yeah, we're gonna work on Cerakoting real quick. So I'll put y'all in time lapse while we prep the material and then get it sprayed. says you got to shake this stuff really, 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 really good. So that's what we're doing. It calls for a 0.8 tip. Closest I got's a 1.0. And I wasn't going to go. I probably should have just went to Harbor Freight and bought another gun, but you know, close enough to perfect's good enough for me. So it ain't going to be perfect, and I know that, and I'm all right with it. Those headers got some pitting on them from rust, but it's all going to be good. Stuff looks pretty sweet. Looks freaking sick, guys. I'm pretty pumped about it. I love the way it turned out. It's an awesome color. Alright guys, it's been a few weeks since I've been able to get out here. I had some other stuff going on. I was working on a car for my mother-in-law, and then we had a baby boy. So that's pretty awesome. I'll have to show y'all a picture or two later on in the video, but in the meantime, I did have something good happen. My neighbor across the street went digging around at his old place and found me the exact head we're looking for. Remember, I had a cracked head, so I'm gonna get this cleaned up and we're gonna rebuild it, and then next up will be painting the head and the block. Alright guys, that other head's sitting outside drying. I just got done taking it apart and pressure washing it. I'm gonna start taping off this block so that we can get some paint laid down on the block and heads, because I need to get it all done at the same time. The other one's ready, but I need to get it all done at the same time because it's a 2K paint. So once you open it, it's done. You got to use it. So catch y'all in a minute after I get done taping this up and putting this head back together, and we'll lay down some paint. Got this head cleaned up a lot. It was pretty bad. Found 2 broken exhaust studs. So I think I'm gonna let them soak overnight. I ain't gonna rush it. I already got some PB on them. I'll get out here in the morning and I've got some extractor sets, and I'll see if I can get those out. Once those are out, it's just a matter of finishing cleaning this thing up and wash it one more time, and then I'll do the valve job, grind the valve seats down and all that, and then we'll be ready to paint. I got the motor all taped off, so it's ready to go. The other head's ready to go. I'll see y'all in the morning. I ended up getting this paint laid down last night, guys. My camera battery died, sorry, but all you missed was me spraying. It's a 2K that I got off of eBay. I don't know, we'll see how it holds up. ERA Paints is the company. Teal was the color. It looks a lot more green in person than it does on this camera. But I think it's going to look good meshing with that. Anyways, if I get some time today, I guess we can maybe start assembling the motor. So I'll see. I got things to do around here with mama and baby, so if I get some time to slip out here, I'll unmask everything and get it ready for assembly and see if we can get started. Alright guys, I'm going to start putting this thing together. Start with all the main bearings, and I already got the rear main seal put in. We'll start with all these mains, get the crank set in. Alright guys, got all the rings on. This bad boy is ready, I believe, for some pistons. Hey, that paint ain't that great, just FYI. I mean, I'm not saying it's junk. It didn't stick good here. And maybe engine enamel, regular engine enamel would have held up to this. I don't know, but I was cleaning the block with some brake cleaner, and where some brake cleaner got on that paint, it pulled it right up. So probably not worth the $80 I spent on it. Maybe don't spend your $80 on it. Maybe spend your $80 on something cooler. So anyway, let me get the piston compressor, the ring compressor, and we'll start popping in pistons. What's up, guys? So I was doing as I always do at night and laid in bed thinking about this engine build last night. and I thought I had figured out that I had the piston ring orientation correct. Turns out I don't. So I'm glad I didn't install the pistons yet or move along any further with the build. Turns out on the Mahle Rings, one of them has a chrome coating on the outside and then one of them's just black. The chrome coating one is actually the top ring. So my mistake. Learn from it. If you buy Mahle Rings, your chrome coated ring is gonna be your top ring. So let me swap this around real quick and then we'll get back to working. I pulled my biggest bonehead yet. I got done and started rotating the assembly. I was like, man, this thing's a little tight. Something don't seem right. I'm looking and looking and looking and looking. Finally, it dawned on me. I put every single piston with the valve relief out instead of in. So now, I'm going to go back through here. If y'all were watching that, y'all were probably going, wait. But anyway, sorry guys. My head's all over with the new baby and everything. So let me swap all these around. It shouldn't take me too long. Might have a nice free spinning motor then. Alright, I got all those flipped around, guys. I'm going to show y'all another way you can tell if you're installing them correct or not. I completely missed this too, but I'll show y'all just in case anybody ever does this little small block build. It's really an easy way to make sure you're putting your pistons in the correct way. So if you look at your rods, let me bring y'all closer. Bring y'all in a little closer here. So if you look at the rods, you always want this flat side with the dots facing the crank. So each rod has like a flat and then a rounded. See, it's rounded and then flat. You always want that flat facing the crank. So completely my fault the other day when I did that. Just not paying attention, rolling with things. Life's been busy with the baby, so we got it fixed though. She rolls over really smooth now. So let me torque all these pistons and then we'll slide this camshaft in. Something else cool I'll show you all that I use is this here. Summit Racing, on their website, they have all your torque specs. I mean, it's got everything you could imagine on there. So it's always handy when you're doing this. Alright, first things first, I like going ahead and putting this at TDC. You can also check your mark right here. It should be pointing at 12 o'clock. pretty close right there. We're going to be putting in a Summit 1065. It's a let me try and remember here. It's a 284, 284, 458, 458, and a 110 lobe separation. Oh, look at that. It even comes with some assembly lube. Can't beat it for the price, though. I forgot how much I paid, but it wasn't much. Maybe $100 or so. Hard to beat. What you can do is you look down in this lifter valley, and through that, hold on a sec. Right here through this lifter hole, you can see that the end of the camshaft, we've lost a lot of our lube, right? So what you can do is go back in with some assembly lube through this hole, just shoot a little down in there, and then grab onto your cam, and you can kind of roll it around. Get that smeared around a little bit. Stick your hand down in there if you got to, kind of smear it. But you can keep some lube always on that end cap. I kind of need both hands to do this, so I'm going to have to put y'all down. There we go. There we go. We got it that time. Check your timing marks. Lined up nice. You can give it a rotation, make sure everything's feeling okay. Feels pretty good. So it doesn't specify to use any kind of thread locker, but I don't know. It would make me feel better. So I'm gonna put a little bit of blue Loctite, not red. Blue you can take back out with a little force. Red's a little more locked in forever. So who knows? Maybe this is wrong. I don't see what it's gonna hurt, and it'll make me sleep better at night. So that's what we're gonna do. Because the torque spec is only 20 foot-pounds. My torque wrench goes to 25, so I torqued them to 25, which isn't a lot. So a little bit of thread locker certainly can't hurt it. Just to be safe. They make, like, I think locking plates and things like that, but I don't have any of that. This is just the factory GM cam sprocket and chain. Should be fine for our applications. We're not doing anything too wild. Alright, got the Melling high volume oil pump and ARP pump stud, all that, and the nice heavy duty Melling shaft too. Alright, I got that in, guys. What I ended up doing was taking a wrench, 5/8, and a hammer. I sanded down the very end of it to where I kind of get it started, and then I just kind of worked the wrench around with a hammer and until it went all the way in. Now we're good. I'm gonna go grab the oil pan. I'll put some fresh paint on it, and we'll get this bad boy set at the right spot, you know, because you can rotate this up or down the pickup. Alright, so right there, it's holding us up about, I don't know, half an inch or so. So we'll, so that, now that's flat, and we want a little bit of space extra. So what we can do, find somewhere to measure that you aren't going to move. Let's just go with the top of this bolt. Right now it's 5 1/4. Let's just tap it down a little. Give us a little bit of clearance. That is 5 1/8. A little more, make me feel better. There we go, 5 1/16. That ought to be good. Because you're going to have an oil pan gasket that's going to give you a little space too, you know, maybe 1/8 or so. So that'll be good. Should have plenty of pickup in there. Alright, let me grab the oil pan gasket. I need to put this oil filter housing back in here. So let me get on that real quick. I think I should have put this on first. It won't, this won't fit through there. What an idiot. Have to pull that oil pump back. That's alright. I can do that later. That stinks. Especially since I already sealed the oil pan. It's a cork gasket though, no big deal. I'll keep working up here for now. I'm gonna go ahead and set them to 0, and then I'll tighten them a little more. So all I'm doing is just turning on this push rod till it quits turning. So that right there is 0 lash. This one's already there. I gotta back it off a little. There we go. That's 0 lash. So then I'll put my wrench about 3 o'clock and I'll cut it all the way to about 12. About 3/4 of a turn. That's called preloading them. That's good because it's hydraulic lifter. That's the way you want to do it. And so then you just get on the crank and turn till your next cylinder drops down to where both lifters are down and set that one. Alright guys, back in the shop today. I'm going to put this thing together. So I took it back apart one more time. I forgot to put that oil pump shaft in, and while I had it apart, I said, let me just double check this. I never did care for how tight the motor was. It took about 40 to 45 foot-pounds to turn over. So I just double checked everything, plastic gauged everything. Everything's perfect. Ring gap, I took a head back off and checked the ring gap. Ring gap's perfect. So we're going to button this thing back up. And I did have one, when I was checking all my bearings, I did find a bearing that I had actually missed a spot on the crank. Had a little spot that gouged up a bearing, so I fixed that spot and got a new bearing, and fixing to put that on and put it all back together. And yeah, so I just wanted to let y'all know where we were at. I talked to the motor shop, and they didn't seem to be too concerned about how hard it was to turn over, so it's just me overthinking everything, I guess. But I wanted to make sure everything was alright. So let me put it back together and I'll get with y'all. Maybe when I get done with that, or maybe we'll just get back out here later this week when I get some more parts in, and we'll finish putting this thing together. Alright, let's get this intake set on here. I'm going to put a little around the water jackets. I ran the tap down this one. It pulled the threads at the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to get something maybe, I don't know, ½ inch longer for this one hole. Every other one's secured nice. So I'm going to have to source one of these just a fuzz longer. It's still got good threads further in. I put just a regular bolt in there for now, just to let it all get seated good with the RTV. And I'll source that from the parts store, a new one just a little bit longer, and we'll drop it in there. In the meantime, let's do the fuel pump. Probably want to tighten those first. Put a little Loctite so they don't get stuck. This is all stainless hardware. It's from a company called alloybolts.com. They're awesome, man. They didn't sponsor me or anything. I don't have any sponsors, but I do like their stuff. They make kits for all kind of things, different motors and motorcycles and boats and whatever. But they're super easy to deal with. I had to call them back because when I started this build, I didn't know I was going with Vortec Heads. So I had to call them back and get them to send me the Vortec intake manifold bolts. Wasn't no problem at all. Easy going people. They're out of Florida. What's up, guys? Man, it's a great day. It's beautiful here this morning in the 60s. It's a Friday. I'm off work and I got a ton of parts for us to put on the motor. We're going to leave around lunchtime and go drop off this Mahle 600 I've been having to Total Custom Carbs. It's a fella that about an hour from here rebuilds carburetors, so he's going to rebuild that for us. And yeah, we'll be good to go. So I'm gonna start putting some of these parts on this morning. Got the whole new pulley system from Summit. It's still V-belt, but it's just all nice new stuff, not old rusty stuff. So get that started. All right, so first things first, I'm gonna get this heater bypass put on. heater hose bypass. So I bought a 90 for here and a 45 for here. I think we can kind of do something like that. Just take a little piece of hose from there to there. I might have to take this back off to thread that. So let me get that off first. Got some more stuff in, guys. Got a new hose for us to go here. Some more fittings. Me and Elijah and his mama went and dropped off the carburetor yesterday to a little race shop. They're gonna redo it for us. He's hanging out with me today while mama cleans. Anyway, let's cut some hose. I got some little basic gauges for a quick start. Pulley puller so we can change the pulley on the alternator and the power steering. Let's get to work on that. Alright guys, we're pretty much wrapping this build up here. Waiting on that carburetor to get back. In the meantime, I was just trying to come up with something for the spark plugs. I don't know if y'all have ever looked at the spark plug wire organizers. They make some that bolt here, come down all fancy. Over $150. I can't see it. There's no way for this guy. So I just have my old plastic things. Just gonna show y'all how I made these. I still gotta make 3 more, but just cut me a little bracket and zip tied my things on there. My wire loom, my loom separators, whatever you call it, spark plug wire separator. I gotta make 3 more. And it's gonna cost me a whole whopping $0. It's things I have. Cutting it out of an old sign. Whoops. Cutting out of an old sign, put it in the vise, bend it, poke a hole in it, done. So I'll walk out through building one of them in case y'all ever want to build them at home. These Vortec heads, I'm not sure about old small block heads if they have this hole. I can look here in just a second and tell you. But these Vortec heads have a little 1/4 inch hole right here. I think it's 1/4 And then let's see on these old small block styles. Nope, it's not going to do you no good. But you could probably make something that comes off your valve cover just as easily, because that's a 1/4. So anyway, I'll build one with y'all and we'll wrap it up. What's up, y'all? Just went and robbed the motor mounts off that parts truck. Got them sitting right here. I'm gonna clean them up. Got the truck pulled out so that I can get to the motor hoist. We're gonna get it over here. Get this motor picked up. I'm gonna try and get it set in the truck here. Got to be kind of quick. Got to say, they got a photographer coming taking some baby pictures today, so Becky needs my help. So I'm trying to hurry up and get this done this morning. So let me grab the hoist and get this going. That was my neighbor Josh. He saw me out here about to drop it in, so he drove over here to help me out. So it's not going to drop down all the way on this side. This power steer in return is actually in the way with this new pulley setup I bought. So we might have to do some modifying here. Let me just get the power steering pump back off first, and then we'll finish dropping it in. Got oil. We're gonna double check it before we just pop it off. About to have fuel. Heart's gonna beat fast.
I bet it is. A lot of money.
Good news is we got an off switch. Wow, if we don't like it. Then we got to get it idled up too, Brennan.
Yeah, we got to do all the timing shit first, though.
Do you, or do you want to just run it to 2,000 and time it at 2,000 right off the bat, just so that it's running decent?
You would probably have to hit the gas a little bit. I'd recommend timing it before you burn a hole in a piston.
True. Well, here goes nothing. It's either gonna be good or bad.
I don't see nothing hanging on this end, so it ought to be good.
Okay. Needs a little different timing. More this way. Fucking tax being stupid.
Got oil pressure.
Do we?
Yep.
Hey, that's one. That's the most important. That's the most important. Let me get up in here.
I'll tell you what I can do. I can get in the cab and adjust it. Let me throw some gas in that top.
All right, so let me catch y'all guys up. So I put just my old exhaust system on the truck so that we could crank it, and we put my old core support with the radiator. Got the carburetor back, wired up a little basic, the ignition switch, tack, some gauges. Got a vacuum gauge on it, got a timing light ready. So yesterday, me and my neighbor Brennan were trying to turn it over. And we're just about getting it to the point. I think what I'm thinking now is we're a tooth off with the distributor. I need to scoot back a tooth because when you counterclockwise the distributor all the way, it starts to try and fire. So I think we're just a tooth off on that. But while doing that, I looked down and I noticed that out of these head studs, this is my mistake, out of these head studs, you could see water seeping out. And I was like, uh-oh. You know, I didn't know what was going on with that. So after some research, I found that you need to use like an RTV or a sealant or something. So now what I need to do is get those either loosened or backed all the way off so I can get some RTV on the threads and up underneath the washer, and then get that back down. Then I'll restab that distributor one tooth back, and I think we're going to be good to go after that. While we were trying to fire yesterday, we had great oil pressure, so that's good news. So let me start by getting these head bolts. The situation fixed, and then we'll go from there. Alright y'all, so here's the deal. Those dang head studs that I didn't put sealant on was a major oversight on my part. So I basically got two options. I can either pull each head stud, try and clean where it goes into the block, put some sealant, put it in, or I could pull the whole motor back out, pull the heads off, and, you know, kind of do it like that. I don't know. I got options. Something to think about. I'm going to sleep on it. I don't know. My fault. You know, ignorance is bliss. I'm learning. This channel's called Shade Tree Automotive for a reason. So I've never done head studs. I may not go back with them either. I might just put a head bolt back in this thing and be done. So anyway, I'll let y'all know what I decide. I'm going to show y'all what I'm talking about and why you can learn from me and not make the same mistakes yourself. So the reason it's so important to put thread sealer on these head studs is look what's underneath the head stud. That's coolant, so it goes straight into a water jacket. And so if you're not thread sealing that good, you're getting coolant seepage. You can see it seeping through. And so I was getting coolant mixed in with my oil, which brought us to this point where I just called a timeout on trying to get the motor started. We're going to get drain the coolant, drain the oil. I'm leaving the oil drain plug open just because, it's going to get residual coolant as we're doing all this. So we're going to get it all drained out, start fresh. I'm not sure if I'm going to go back with these studs, though. Actually, I know I'm not. I already called O'Reilly's and ordered the bolts. I'm just going to put standard head bolts in it and make my life easier. So for now, that's the game plan. I just need to get all these. I don't have to get them all out. Obviously, I really need to do one at a time. But once I guess I need to go run to O'Reilly's and pick the bolts up and pull this one out after I drain the coolant, pull that one out, and just do one by one, get them all retorqued, and go from there. I may leave the studs on the outside out here because they don't technically mix with the oil out here. They go down into the coolant passage, but I sealed them up here at the top, which technically should have them sealed just fine. I don't see why it would matter. And if I got to change these, that means I got to undo exhaust and everything else. But if I just buy head bolts and change head bolts up here, a lot easier job. And then maybe we can get this thing to crank off. So if I would quit being a jabroni and slow down and pay attention to what I'm doing. So anyways, let me drain this coolant, go run and grab some parts, and I'll catch back up with y'all in a little bit. Bright, but oil pressure's pretty much done. Perfect. We started around 60. We're down to 45. If I can just get it to stay at 45, we got about 5 more minutes on this break-in. So it dropped nice and slow and steady, just like it's supposed to.